3 days. That's how long I've been testing Somna in arena, battle after battle, against real players, and what I found might completely change how you think about building around her. I play on server 3, where the players are maxed out and the competition is higher than anywhere else I've experienced. If a team can survive here, against players who genuinely know what they're doing, it can survive pretty much anywhere else in this game. Over these 3 days, I ran through a huge number of matchups, testing different combinations, different pets, different supports around Somna, trying to figure out where she actually fits best. And out of everything I tried, 2 team setups stood out clearly above the rest, good enough that I wanted to bring them to you specifically, footage and all. Let's start with the first one, and you're about to see it in action. Team 1 is Electra, Gus, Myrna, Adam, and Somna. This entire team is built around one central idea, protecting and supporting Adam so he can operate as your main damage dealer without interruption. But here's the thing that surprised me the most while testing this: the piece that actually makes this whole team click isn't even one of the 5 heroes. It's the team pet, Axel. Let me explain exactly why Axel matters so much here, because this mechanic is the foundation the entire team is built on. Axel distributes incoming damage across all 5 heroes on your team, instead of letting it concentrate entirely on whoever the enemy happens to be targeting. That single mechanic changes everything about how this team performs in a real fight. Because damage gets spread out instead of focused, Adam personally takes noticeably less direct punishment than he normally would in a standard team. That means he dodges more incoming attacks, survives longer, and, this is the important part, he reaches his ultimate faster and far more consistently than he would otherwise. And every single time Adam ultimates, his artifact activates, which boosts physical attack for the entire team, not just for him individually. So now you've got this stacking physical attack buff building up across your whole lineup with every ultimate, and that stacking attack directly feeds into and powers up Somna's own skill set at the same time. If breakdowns like this are actually helping you build stronger arena teams around new heroes, do me a favor and hit subscribe right now, because I'm not stopping at 2 teams here. I'm going to keep testing comps around Somna as the meta shifts and as more players figure out how to counter her, and you genuinely don't want to miss what I find next. Now watch this next clip closely, because this is where things get genuinely interesting, because up to this point, it probably sounds like this is purely a team about making Adam stronger. But that's really only half the picture. What's actually happening underneath all of this is that Somna is quietly turning the enemy team's own aggression back against them. Here's how. When Axel distributes incoming damage to Somna specifically, that damage triggers her violet skill, Domain of Tranquility, the skill that applies the sleepiness effect onto whichever enemy heroes are dealing that damage to her in that moment. So think about what that actually means over the course of a full battle. Because Somna is constantly absorbing a share of the incoming damage every single time the enemy attacks anyone on your team, she's also constantly and almost passively stacking sleepiness effects onto the enemy team, over and over, throughout the entire fight, without you needing to do anything extra to make it happen. And remember what that sleepiness effect actually does once it stacks: it drops the enemy's physical and magic attacks significantly. So now put both halves of this team together and really think about what's happening on both sides of the fight at once. On your side, Adam is ultimating more and more often, which pumps your team's physical attack higher and higher as the fight continues. On the enemy's side, Somna is constantly weakening their physical and magic attack through these stacking sleepiness effects. Watch the footage here and you'll see exactly how this plays out in real time. The result is a fight that snowballs harder and harder in your favor the longer it runs, your damage climbing while theirs keeps shrinking, until the gap becomes completely lopsided. So with all of that clearly working in your favor, is this the perfect, unbeatable team? Not even close. And before you go build this yourself, you need to understand exactly where it breaks down, because every team has a weakness, and this one is no exception. Somna and Adam both benefit massively from having Axel as the team pet, but that same dependency is also this team's biggest vulnerability. Because this team leans so heavily on that one mechanic, it can get stunned or silenced fairly easily if you're not running Sebastian somewhere in your lineup to protect against it. And even Sebastian isn't a guaranteed fix here. If the enemy team is running Fluffy alongside a dedicated control hero, Sebastian alone might not be enough to save you from getting locked down. That said, in today's meta specifically, this team still performs consistently well overall, mainly because most enemy teams right now simply aren't running a hard stun hero, like Arachne. Without that kind of stun pressure coming at you from the start, you can usually land your combos cleanly and close out the fight before this weakness ever becomes a real problem for you. As for the rest of the lineup, let me quickly walk you through everyone's role. Electra's job here is protection. She's covering the whole team, Adam and Somna included, keeping them alive long enough to actually do their jobs in the fight. Gus is your dedicated healer, keeping the whole team topped up throughout the battle. And Burner increases the team's overall health limit, which matters a lot more than it sounds like on the surface, because with a higher health limit, the incoming attacks Adam takes convert into even more physical attack for him in return. So Adam and Burner essentially grow together the longer the fight drags on, each one making the other stronger as the battle continues. Now, to be clear, this isn't the single best team in the entire game. It's simply the best setup I've personally found so far through days of testing. And now, let's flip things around completely for the second team, because instead of me explaining it to you first, I want you to watch it happen. Take a look at this footage first. You just watched Team 2 in action, and here's what you were actually looking at. Same foundation as Team 1, same core idea, except instead of running Gus, I swapped in Jorgen. Here's a question worth sitting with for a second: what do you do when your dedicated healer ends up being the one thing holding a strong team back? That's the exact problem this swap was built to solve. A lot of teams run Jorgen these days, and if you've faced him before, you already know he makes it significantly harder to control the pace of the battlefield, even against Somna, because he keeps stealing enemy energy and actively stopping the other side from building theirs back up. Putting him on my own team instead of only facing him as an opponent is exactly why that footage looked the way it did. Here's exactly how the setup changes when you make this swap. Without Gus in the lineup, you lose that dedicated healing entirely. Now Burner is carrying the healing responsibility completely on her own. But in exchange, you're gaining a second full control hero on your team. Jorgen denies the enemy's energy while Somna puts them to sleep and shreds their physical and magic attack through her stacking effect. Between the two of them working together at the same time, you barely need a dedicated healer on this team at all. Somna is already doing the heavy lifting simply by controlling how much damage the enemy can even output in the first place. Now, one important thing before you go slot either of these two teams straight into your defense: neither one is built for that. Both share the exact same core weakness. An Arachne and Faceless combination can lock this entire team down with stuns for the whole fight, start to finish, without you ever getting a real chance to fight back. Keep both of these on attack, not defense. But for pushing through arena battles, climbing rank, and testing new combinations against real opponents, both of these teams hold up well. Neither is meta. But based on everything I tested over these 3 days, both are absolutely worth trying for yourself. So here's exactly what I want from you. Go run both of these teams yourself in your own arena battles, and come back and tell me what you find down in the comments. Which one performed better for you, the Gus version, or the Jorgen version? Did you run into a counter or a weakness that I haven't come across yet in my own testing? I genuinely want to know, so drop it below and let's talk about it. And if this video helped you think about building something new around Somna, do me a favor and leave a like on your way out. It genuinely helps this channel keep growing and keeps me motivated to keep testing new comps for you. Keep thinking deeper, keep testing smarter. Salute and friendship.